For practicing sits and downs, practice this where he's in heel position as well as facing you so that he understands he can lay down or sit in any position relative to you. You can practice telling him verbally as well as using a hand signal or both. Don't forget you also have leash cues where you can pull up with the leash for a sit or pull down or step on the leash for a down cue. Here I'm mixing in a little bit of heel work and also working on some sit and down repetitions. If you're working on heel positions, make sure you're feeding with your left hand. If you're facing him, you can feed with either your left or your right hand. When giving hand signals with the dog at your left side, you may have to slightly change how you deliver your hand signals compared to when you are facing the dog. For the down hand signal with the dog in heel, make sure your fingertips are closest to the dog's nose and make a sweeping downward motion as if you were going to throw a bowling ball. For the hand signals, you'll notice that my wrist is just rotating based on if I want him to lay down or if I want him to sit, but my fingers are always closest to his nose. Let's watch my hand in slow motion. For a sit, and also for a down. When rewarding the dog for being at a down, drop the food in between his two paws or bend over enough that you can deliver it right to his mouth. If you don't bend over enough, he's going to want to jump up to get the treat. Make sure you come down to his level when you want to pay him for being in a down. When he's in a sit, similarly, you're going to bring the food right to his mouth. Don't drop it on the ground if you don't want him to get up. For heeling, have the dog on your left side. You can pat your left leg as you say the word heel and begin moving forward. When you stop, the dog should sit at your left side automatically. Make sure to pay the dog with your left hand so the dog does not have to move to get the reward. When you're ready to move, say the word heel and move forward. If your dog's nose passes your toe as you're walking, quickly turn to your right 180 degrees so that your dog has to catch back up with you. Don't pull the dog back to get into position. The dog needs to remain in position on its own. When your dog is in proper heel position, you should be able to turn left without running into your dog. Practice changing your speed, going slower, faster, stopping, letting your dog sit so you can pay them. Practice lots of changes in your direction so your dog has to pay attention to where you're going and follow you accordingly. When you're using the e-collar for heeling, if the dog moves out of position, start to rapidly tap the e-collar on a very low setting as you do a turn so that the dog has to catch back up, and stop tapping the e-collar when the dog is in position. When using the clicker, click at the precise moment the dog does the behavior you like, such as sitting when you stop, and then pay the dog. Practicing stay, it's advised to use an elevated surface in the beginning. Ask your dog to place. You can click and treat when the dog gets up on an elevated surface that's stable enough for him. If you are outdoors, it's advised that you link up their leash to something stable, like a pole or a strong piece of furniture, just in case they make a mistake so that they cannot run around and get injured. Tell the dog to stay. In your hand signal is an open hand side to side in front of their face if you choose to use that. Walk away just a few steps. If the dog gets off, immediately grab the leash and get the dog back to the location where they should have been. You may have to guide them, have them lay back down if they were in a down position, and then walk away again. If they're in this position, you can click, treat, and reward the dog. Walk away again, go a different direction, walk a little bit further away, click, and return to the dog and pay the dog again. The dog is not supposed to get up until you give the all right release word. Keep moving to a different location, click, and then return and pay the dog. We're clicking for the dog remaining in the stay, so he will only get clicked if he does not get up. If he does get up, you just need to go ahead and go back and reset the dog. If you were using the e-collar to reset him, you could tap the dog on a low level while you're helping guide him up with the leash all the way back to the location. You're playing the floor is lava game. And as soon as he's back on location, you can go ahead and stop correcting the dog. Once he's settled back, you can start moving further and further away. You can see I'm going out of frame as I'm coming around the dog. I'm not concerned that he's going to get hurt because he is attached to the pole. If he makes a mistake, I can reset him, but I know that he'll be okay. Once you see that the dog is not getting up and not making mistakes, that's when you can trust that you don't have to have them attached to something like a pole with their leash. And you can also start practicing on just the floor. In the beginning, though, it does help to have the dog up on an elevated surface because it gives them a target of where to be. You can see I'm dropping food down. He got up just so that he could get that piece of food. So I had to tell him verbally to lay back down, and he did. And then I move around again after I give him some food. It's a little strange for him to see me above him. I'm going to move back out of frame, come back around, pay him one more time, and get ready to release the dog with the all right cue, or you could also call him to come. And now I'm going to unattach the dog, and we can walk away. He should be getting lots of payment while he's in the stay. Don't only feed him at the end of the stay, or he will start to pop up more frequently when he's not supposed to.